Thank you for coming and welcome. I think this is your first RIRA Public Safety Committee meeting. We're glad to have you. I'm not sure if you're aware of RIRA, but we've been the residents' voice for many years. So here we are. You're feeling impatient today, Mary?
Well, I keep losing the connection.
Ah, okay. So it's not me.
No,
not us.
I apologize. But never mind.
Okay. All right. So generally, I think maybe we should do introductions. I think everybody knows everybody. I think Romana, it's the first time we've seen your face. So that's very pretty. Thank you. And our newest person here is Stephanie. So why don't we go around and just introduce ourselves? I'm Erin Feely-Naham. I'm the co-chair. My other co-chair is not here yet. She'll be coming, I'm sure. Rick, you want to start?
I'm Rick O'Connor. I publish the Roosevelt Islander online.
Okay.
Kevin Brown, Chief of Public Safety, Roosevelt Island.
Mary Kavanaugh, resident of River Cross.
Romana, resident of 460 Main.
I guess I'll go last because I got skipped, so I'll go last.
You can go.
Oh, go ahead, Anthony. We're all waiting for you.
All right.
Ike Naham, yeah. Sorry. I can't, my volume is not working very well. Anyway, I'm just a member of the Public Safety Committee, live in Westview.
Hi, I'm Anthony Amoroso. I'm the Deputy Chief of Public Safety Department.
Hi, Anthony. Hello, I am Rossana Ceruzzi, President of RIRA Roosevelt Island Resident Association.
As well as also has another hat.
And also President and founder of the Wildlife Freedom Foundation.
There you go. Who does a lot of work for all of the animals, the wildlife on Roosevelt Island. She is the only person who makes it happen here on the island. 24/7, she can get a call and have to take an animal to the hospital that's been hurt, and she does it.
Well, thank you.
So
Thank you, Erin.
Much needed service. Okay,
Thank
well,
you.
why don't we start? Kevin, do you want to start?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll go through the agenda down the crime stats first. In the month of April, we actually had 3 crimes, 3 assaults. There was listed as a robbery also, but that robbery had occurred in March, and the one robbery was where PSD and NYPD apprehended the suspect from March, who had committed the robbery down near and around Granny Annie's. That person was apprehended in April. Of our 3 assaults, what is a continued theme on the island with our assaults? 2 of the assaults were domestic. One of the people involved in the domestic was a victim of a stabbing. That person was apprehended. We had another domestic in an apartment where the person was not apprehended but is wanted by NYPD. And we had another type of assault where it was a borderline sexual assault, where a person had grabbed the buttocks of a female down near Food Town, and that person was arrested by public safety. Those were our 3 crimes for the month. We had a robbery in this month in May that is being investigated right now, and we're with some of the really good help of public safety with the use of our cameras on Roosevelt Island. We're locating and giving this information to NYPD almost hourly. They're constantly calling on our public safety officers who have tremendous knowledge and ability to operate the cameras, to track suspects on and off the island. One of the things that NYPD always says that the help of public safety, our public safety, is invaluable. Going back to our burglary in March, The officers from public safety, they helped track the suspect, was able to identify the suspect in the burglary down at Starbucks, Granny Annie's, in the juice shop. The person who committed the robbery in March was apprehended because of the work of public safety. One of my public safety officers actually spotted the person, and because he might have been dangerous, we called NYPD, and they quickly apprehended the suspect. The robbery that occurred down at the Graduate Hotel, NYPD, they keep my phone ringing off the hook, because they know that we are the public safety, the eyes and ears of the island, and we supply them and such valuable information, and are able to track suspects on and off the island. And they really appreciate the work that my young public safety officers do. Those were the crimes. One other thing that I wanted to mention too, bulk of our work, we respond to all ADA cases. And the reason why we respond to these ADA cases is because, and it's 35% of the work that we do, it's important. It's very important, and it's actually mandated by law. One of the reasons why we respond to all of these calls is because what if someone is unconscious or goes unconscious? We are the people, we are the law enforcement who notifies their next of kin, make sure that that person does not be called a missing person. What if that person we go to a lot of these ADA cases where they are domestics and they're victims of crimes, and PSD is first on the scene. One other important reason why we go to, like I said, 35% of our calls are ADA cases, because a lot of times there are uncared for children or adults and even pets in the house. And if that does occur, we do notify someone to come take care of either a child or an adult, or most of the time pets. So I want to, I've heard that maybe I've been listening, a little bit too closely, that someone says that PSC unnecessarily goes to these calls. But we have to go to these calls. We have to ensure that everything is okay. And if it's just a routine person sick, we make sure that the ambulance takes them to the hospital of their choice. Sometimes we can assist in that and getting the person going to the hospital where they're trying to go to. So we try to provide the service for the residents on Roosevelt Island by responding to these ADA cases at all times. We continue to do the verticals. In the month of April, we did over 350 verticals, about 350 verticals just in the motorgate. One of the things that my officers have noticed is that, that late at night, we have a lot of people parking their cars in the motorgate, 10, 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning. So they want to make sure that they're in and around motorgate at those times. They're constantly driving in motorgate, just checking, just making sure that people who can leave the motorgate, that they feel that they are safe and that there is somebody watching over them. We continue to do the verticals in Roosevelt Landings. We did over 250 verticals there. Island House, Westview, and River Course, they do have the door stops, but we do a number of verticals in those locations. One of our, one of the things that we try to stay on top of, we write a lot of summonses. We write a lot of parking summonses, but our main goal with the parking summonses are try to get people to comply, try to get people to, not take up spaces, not park illegally. My guys are on Main Street, and one of the things that they want to do is, bring down the summons number and get more people to comply to the summonses. And we started our bike unit with the summer months coming with the warm weather. we have our bike unit, and they have written, and just in the month of April, they already wrote 21 summonses for bike violations. And they are out there. They are, checking and making sure that the bikes do comply on the island. I know that Stephanie is here. We met with her yesterday talking about, the dogs. I mean, if we want to give her a chance to speak and tell what happened with her dog incident, then I could, comment after that.
The other thing was just about while you were on the crime stats, the incident that happened on Main Street, I believe outside of Bread and Butter, where a car came up with 4 armed men or with a gun and robbed a woman at Bread and Butter. Did you hear about this a couple of days back?
No, that was the Graduate
That
Hotel
was at the
incident.
Graduate Hotel robbery
Yeah, that's,
that I spoke about. The person was stopped on the woman was stopped on Main Street after they were robbed at the Graduate Hotel.
After she was robbed at the Graduate Hotel. I'm sorry, I was trying to get this stuff going, so I didn't hear you well.
it was some wrong
By whom?
information. It was some wrong information that was given with the addresses. I think me and Rick talked about it on Sunday. I think it came over the Citizens app that
Right.
was the location. The location of the robbery was on North Loop. That was the location. And, I think even Rick went out there and no one knew anything about a robbery. It was the wrong information on Citizens app. Problem with Citizens app is some of that information is not always exactly correct. And that's,
Right,
that-
obviously, because that was from Citizens app and it
yeah,
was
that's,
it was
like,
unclear.
Yeah,
So,
it definitely happened down at the Graduate Hotel. 3 women were robbed by 3 men. They were in their car and they reported that they took a lot of jewelry. And that's what I was telling, that's what I was speaking about, that, our cameras picked them up on and off the island. We're having conversations with NYPD, giving them access to our video. We're burning
Good.
copies of the video so that they could, quickly apprehend these people. I say.
Were either residents, were any of the people involved, were the women, anyone?
No residents, no residents.
So odd.
None of them lived on the island. They were visiting the Graduate Hotel. But, there are a lot of theories about what happened down there. And we will get to the bottom of this very quickly.
And did they have their own patrols, don't they, down at the Graduate Hotel? Aren't they supposed to have their own?
They don't have.
no, they don't have any.
They don't have any? I
No.
thought that they had, they don't,
No,
they
they
depend
don't
on
have any
public
patrol.
safety?
They don't have any patrol at the Graduate Hotel.
No patrols.
I
Doesn't
thought
the
that when
campus
they
have
opened that,
patrols?
they were supposed to, the
The
campus is
campus
supposed to
has-
have its own,
The campus does not patrol the Graduate Hotel.
Yes, it's totally different.
oh, that's not, so we're.
That's
you guys are
Cornell Tech. That's
responsible?
Cornell Tech Security Department, not the Graduate Hotel Security.
So you have to,
Just like
you
any
are
other
the ones
area.
that are responsible
We
for
have
the Graduate Hotel.
Hotel, yes,
Like any other business.
yeah.
Wow, I wasn't aware of that. I thought, they were responsible for their own area.
Nope.
Okay, well, I'm glad, so something is
We're
being done.
actively working on this.
Great. Okay, I'm sorry, Kevin. As I said, I was just trying to set
Can
up.
I follow up with that for a second?
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Why were the women stopped on Main Street?
No, they drove their car onto Main Street and they were stopped by NYPD, who noticed that was a car that was involved in the robbery.
Okay.
Yeah,
And they
And-
stopped in front of Holston. I got it, Tony.
yeah, sorry.
So
And were they guests at the Graduate or the cocktail bar?
they were not guests at the Graduate.
What about the cocktail bar?
They were going to visit the bar upstairs.
Okay, thank you.
And then they got robbed.
They got robbed in front of the hotel.
It's so odd. Somebody just came with a gun and robbed them in front of, you never hear of that on Roosevelt Island. That's why it was very surprising. I'm wondering, is this what we have?
If
to
they
look forward to?
if they knew already that they were carrying all that valuable things, because it looks and sounds really awkward that, you know, they would just rob randomly someone who happened to have, if it's true, I don't know, for what I read, over 80,000
What?
in jewelry, accessories, money, whatever in value. It sounds like they probably knew that they were carrying that.
Well, that's why the detectives are investigating everything, Rosanna.
Okay.
Terrific. All right, that's great. Thank you, Kevin. I'm sorry to go back. Okay, well, are there any other questions on the crime stats or any of the assaults or anything that Kevin brought up? If not, then sure, we can, if Stephanie, would you like to speak about the incident that you and your son encountered, your brave son sitting there?
Yeah, hi all. Yeah, sorry, my husband has now a business meeting, and so you will get to know also my son.
Yes.
And I'm very happy to tell you in person what has happened. So in general, I just want to mention that we live here on the island for 3.5 years now, and we are super happy. We are originally German, and we love it. We always feel super safe here, and it's just such a beautiful place to be. And last Wednesday, I brought my son to daycare. So we live in the Octagon, and he goes to the Octagon daycare. So it's just a very short walk. So we left the gate at the courtyard of the Octagon, and my son was super excited to go to daycare, and he was running, but not like, you know, he's still a toddler. He was not super fast. It was just like that he was running 2 or 3 meters in front of me. And suddenly out of the blue, I haven't seen the dog before, an unleashed dog, small, very wild, was running after my son. So probably the dog thought it's play or chase or I don't know. And the dog ran after my. Yeah, you want to show it? Yeah, you
Oh
can show
boy,
it,
you were so brave. So brave.
in a moment, okay? And the dog was jumping on him. So my son, he was super scared and panicked, and he tried to even run faster, and the dog was even kept running and jumping on him. And it was, of course, a small dog, but imagine the size of my son. He's also a small kid. And so the dog jumping reached the height of my son, and my son fell, and the dog just kept jumping on him. And my son totally panicked and screamed, and I also screamed for the dog owner and for the dog to just go away. And it was just a very traumatizing event for both my son and also for myself, that I'm as a mom and I'm expecting. So I'm 6 months pregnant, and it was just like, how can I keep my son safe and get the dog away from my son, but also to defend myself and especially my unborn child. And so it was really a tough situation. And I kept screaming, and I tried to intervene, and the dog owner came slowly and said that it would be not necessary to leash his dog. It would be just play. But I told him that it's not play for my child. And he told me that my child should be used to dogs. And I told him, no, it's not like this. And honestly, on Wednesday, I didn't know exactly the law about leashing or not leashing. But I told him that there is the daycare and there is also the playground around, and I think it's irresponsible. And my son was still really crying, and I tried to calm him down, and the dog owner just wanted to go away. And I said, no, please don't go, because I would love to get your contact details. So he was not even asking, so is he okay? Can I help you? Or offering his contact details, as I would know it from Germany, because in Germany, all dog owners have insurance. So if something happens, usually they give you the contact details, and I just told him I want to know the vaccine status of your dog, because I'm a physician in Germany, so I do know that if there is anything, so I haven't seen any bite, but I did not really see if there are other injuries in the first moment. And I told him I will check my child, but could you please, before you leave, give me your contact details, that if there is anything, I have to go to the pediatrician with them, that I can reach out and get info. And he was just like, yeah, my dog barely touched your son, and it's not necessary, your kid is fine. And I was really getting mad and told him, you can't tell me that my kid is fine or not, it's my decision. You can talk about your dog, but not about my kid. And I also tried to explain him that is also like traumatizing for a kid, being attacked like this emotionally. And he was just not understanding. And when my son settled down, I brought him to daycare to get him in a safe environment, and I tried to follow the dog owner and to try again to talk to him, but calmly. But it was really difficult, because he told me that it's his right to unleash his dog, and he thinks I would be overprotective and overreacting, and that's the first story. And 2 days later, was that almost the same time, I would say like 30 minutes later probably, but the same spot on our way to daycare, everything was fine. And now my son is super scared. He always wants, when we go outside, to watch if there are dogs around. And I told him, oh yeah, there is a dog, but on a leash, so we can go to daycare, you can feel safe. And on my way back, I saw on the very same spot an unleashed dog. And I went to the dog owner and I kindly asked him and told him my son was attacked 2 days ago, and I would kindly ask him to leash his dog, because there's daycare and playgrounds and you never know. And he did not really understand and told me that it's his right to unleash his dog. I told him, no, after the attack, I know the law and it's law to leash the dog. And I stayed there, but it seemed that he even didn't have a leash with him, because I said, okay, we'll be here and I will call PSD if he would not leash his dog. And he just took his dog and responded super madly. And I was really scared. And I also decided now to not speak up myself anymore, because I was during both incidents, I was alone, and I'm 6 months pregnant, and
Right. You have to be
I
careful.
was kind of shocked about how this conversation turned out, because in general I really love this community here on the island, also during the pandemic when everyone needed to stay in their apartments, but I always had the impression we are still connected, we are helping each other. And I totally understand that there is lots of discussion at the moment also about the dog runs and everything. I totally understand. I'm a former dog owner. I grew up with dogs, so I know we need some space to grow and develop and to live. But I'm also a mom, and also as a former dog owner, I know that they are still animals with instincts. And the dog owner told me, my dog is just playful, but it was not play for my child. And so I totally understand that there is a movement to improve the dog runs and everything, but I really want to keep my child and also my unborn safe here on the island. We always felt safe. And so I totally understand the discussions, and I support that the dog owners will get their space here. But I also want to just, be safe and also to protect our kids, and also to not be scared to go to daycare,
course.
also to show my son that this island is safe, that he
Right.
doesn't have to be scared, and he still suffers. Like yesterday,
terrible.
he did not mention any dog. I was super proud that almost after a week we are getting there. But we had the first day not mentioning. But during that time, he suddenly mentioned he wants that I just place my hand on his back, and I asked him why, and he said he just wants me to stay there during the night to be safe in case a dog would come and jump there, because he told me, the dog touched me there and I didn't like it. I don't want to be touched by a dog, and I was really it was heartbreaking. So he
terrible.
emotionally he's still suffering. So fortunately, it was just a scratch and just also kind of a little cracked skin because he fell on the ground, but it could have been even more like a bite, or
Terrible.
he could have hit his head. And so at the moment we are just especially facing the emotional side of it. And I was really happy that we were able to discuss it in person and already some solutions. And I'm just also interested what possibly solutions come up tonight. And also I'm available also in the future if there are discussions, or you want to
Would love to
hear
have
my
you.
story, or to tell others. But I'm available because my only interest is to keep my children, but also the children here on the island safe. This is the only my only interest.
Well, thank you so much, Stephanie. I can't imagine. I'm sure it was traumatic. I'm sorry for your son and for your experience, and I'm sorry that somebody here reacted like that. This is a wonderful community. We're very lucky to have public safety, so I'm sure that Kevin met with you and solutions were found. It is a problem, though, that we've heard a lot more about recently. There was a dog that had bit a cat, a dog bit another child down on the other end of the island, but there seems to be a fair amount of issues with, from what I'm hearing, with dogs off the leashes in Octagon using the fields, and it is illegal. So Kevin, this seems to be happening suddenly with the warm weather more often than it had been what we had heard even just recently. Any ideas or any solutions? Is there any way of, what can we do here?
I think that while it has been happening, that now it's being reported a lot more. So this is what RIOC stance is. RIOC is they're fixing the dog runs. That was part of engineering. When we have a problem, we look at the 3 E's: engineering, education, and enforcement. They're fixing the dog runs. We have flyers that we're going to be blitzing the community with, and just giving everyone notice that the dogs must be on a leash. The leash cannot be longer than 6 feet.
Really?
If they're off the leash, there's a $200 fine. In addition to the leash problem that we're having a lot of people who do not pick up after their dogs. And that's a $250 fine. PSC has a lot of discretion, but one of the places where we are going to exercise our enforcement is when we have dogs off the leash, and then they pretty much attack people. Those people are going to get summonses. They have to get summonses because we have to keep the community safe. And one of the part of keeping us safe is that they must, adhere to the law. The law says that you must keep your dog on the leash. They're coming up with different types of solutions to this. There was a mention of having a certain time to have dogs off the leash, but we're a residential community. I'm not sure if that will be effective. And I've heard of this in Central Park, where they let dogs off the leash from 6 to 9 a.m., 6 a.m. to 9 a.m.
With joggers running around, really? I'm very
Yeah.
surprised. Certain all over Central Park?
No, not all over. They
I
they
was
have
gonna
a
say,
designated area. They have a designated
They have a
area,
lot of space there.
but we're a residential community. So
Exactly.
so we cannot tell our people and our residents to stay inside from 6 to 9.
Right.
So I
That's
don't,
right.
I'm,
That's right.
I'm not in favor of that.
I see you, Mary.
So, you know, with where we're going with this is that we're definitely out there and we're enforcing the law. We must keep our dogs leashed. You know, I hear from a lot of dog owners that their dogs need to run, you know, that the community is set up for animals, but you know, we have to, you know, coexist and live together, and we have to operate under the law.
Thank you, Kevin. Mary had her hand up and then Rosanna.
Yes,
Go ahead, Mary.
Kevin, I would like to know if there is a time frame for the completion of these new dog runs. When will it start?
I don't have that, Mary.
I can answer that.
No.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Rosanna has been working on that with the Island Services Committee and RIOC. Go ahead, Rosanna, and then Rick.
Okay, hold on 1 second because I'm having problem. Okay, can you
I
hear
know
me?
that they're working.
hear you.
I know that they're working, you know, at a fast pace to get this done. That this is
Yes.
a large community, a large
Yes.
community, and
Okay.
they're working feverishly.
Right. Now
Yeah.
I'm Rosanna has been pushing it for 6 months now. So feverishly, I hope
No,
it's starting.
that is for the record, has been longer than that, but
I know.
because of the
Please be
pandemic,
generous.
you know, we say 6 months because of the pandemic.
Right.
So obviously it could not accomplish before, but the good news is that after all the effort of RIRA working closely with the president of RIOC, President Shelton Haynes, finally the dog park is on its way to be built. And in fact, they already started. Well, we have to separate two things. First, there will be a temporary park, okay? And as of this morning, RIOC ground was already working, and actually, I don't know if I'll be able to share a picture, but they did already a great work on the existent dog run on the south end, basically east of related building like southeast of the formerly K9 and YPD area. So they have already redone the ground. There will be also water in a week or so. There will be water available. We are working also for the shade for that location. But again, that is a temporary location until the final park, let's call it final, the final park, dog park, will be done, and that will be in a few months. There is not a fixed deadline yet, but will be pretty soon. So RIOC will start to work on the location near the ferry soon, and there will be, and this is very important, and also to reassure also Stephanie, there will be general park rules and etiquette that will be in place, including the owner, of course, that have to pick up after their dogs. Dogs must be licensed and vaccinated for rabies. And then each owner cannot bring more than 2 dogs per household into the dog park. And also other rules like, sorry, I'm trying to remember, the female dogs in heat will not be allowed inside the park, and also limiting the small dog area, because the park is obviously separated between the small dogs and large dogs. And so limiting the small dog area of the park to dogs under 30 pounds. And there will be much more amenities, etc. So it is happening. And also the north one,
Right, for
near the
Octagon,
octagon.
where
Yeah,
we have
that
had a
is-
lot of issues, and Stephanie and other people, or a cat
Yeah.
was hurt,
That is
$2,000
also going, that
surgery.
is also going to be, that is also going to be fixed. They will start very, very soon, just as this one as South. I believe actually they already started yesterday or today on that one too. If not, they will this week. And so there will be 2 available locations for all dogs. Obviously, the unleashed dogs, I agree with Kevin. I also am not in favor of having off-leash hours for the very same reasons that Kevin mentioned, because this is a small residential area. And so there are, at any time, we cannot like have fixed hours where we know that no one will be walking with either their child or another adult or whatever, and dog phobias and anything else. So I am not in favor, although a former dog owner. I want to specify this. Okay?
Central Park can be used by our Central Park, just like people who live on First Avenue can have to go to Central Park. People can go to Central Park with their animals if they really want them and they care about them and they want them to run.
Right, I agree. I agree. But I think that this will absolutely, to say the least, reassure the unfortunate residents that went through, and I'm sorry for Stephanie, obviously, Stephanie, I'm sorry that your child had to through that, and actually not only that you had to go through that nasty comments of the owner of the dog, or I should say silly, stupid, idiotic comments of that owner, obviously, that instead of apologizing and try to help you, didn't even had the decency to ask you or to apologize. But regardless, I am certain that with the dog parks, and I really hope that these kind of problems will be limited, will be complete fixed. I not, because as we say, the mother of the idiots is always pregnant. Allow me to use this stupid saying, but obviously, even with the dog runs, there will be always someone who thinks that he can take the liberty and use the island as his or her own property. But at that time, there will be, of course, PSD monitoring. And Kevin, in fact, I also want to say, I'm sorry, just one more thing I want to say that is important. I personally have been noticing that at the pony field, there are no more dogs running free, at least for the times. Yeah. So lately, I and others, I have heard, other residents, we have not seen dogs running unleashed.
But this was up by Octagon, right? Because this is where her child, so they still are. And she saw another person again today with it. So there's something around Octagon. Are we going to have more people, Kevin? Is there going to be, are the public safety officers going to be going through that area more often? You're muted, Kevin.
We are patrolling up there, Octagon. We are, on the lookout. We've heard the complaints. We've even heard from Octagon, the building, about the dogs off the leash. Their management came to us, and we are patrolling a lot more for the dogs off the leash.
Great, thank you. I see you, Mary, but Kev, go ahead. You were next, Rick. So there'll be extra patrols. Good.
Okay, I've also noticed at Firefighters Field, there are a lot less dogs running unleashed over the last 10 days or so. So whatever message PSD is giving out has been working, at least on Firefighters Field.
Agree.
Yeah, so I was just wondering, Kevin, regarding the discretion that PSD officers can use to issue summonses for unleashed dogs and dog pooping, could you describe a little bit about what scale is used in terms of that discretion?
we're trying to get people to comply. If there's a dog off the leash and the person immediately complies, then that probably will be, discretion will be used. We're enforcing the dog pooping. That's different. That's separate from the dog off the leash. If you let your dog poop and you don't pick it up, we're enforcing that. That's not something that you intently, if you walk away from your dog poop, you're intending to do that. The dogs off the leash, we're working with the dog owners. We've been hearing the complaints that they don't have a dog park, but the dogs going after children and going after other people. If you don't control your dog, those people will be summoned for the most part also.
And what about licensing? I thought that there was some rule that people were supposed to register their animals and with the buildings or something. I mean, is that true that the building managements, people who bring dogs in are supposed
I don't
to
know about
register
that.
them?
I don't know about them registering their animals with the building.
Register with the management of the building.
Yeah,
Yes,
that their
yes,
dogs
of
have
course.
shots, etc. Right? Isn't that in the
Aaron,
lease?
it might be a rule with the buildings, but it's not a law
It's not a law.
in New York City.
No, I'm just wondering because if they're doing it, the management knows who the problems are. I mean, this woman or the person who had this dog that attacked Stephanie's child, nobody has ever seen that dog coming in and out of Octagon. I find it.
I can tell you this also. There are a lot of off-island people who come onto Roosevelt Island with dogs.
That's
And
true.
to walk them.
Yeah, that's true. That's
It's
true.
nice area.
Also at the pony field.
Really nice area.
Yeah. All right, Mary.
Astoria, yeah, a lot of Astoria residents come to the pony field. They come to the Octagon, dog park.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy. Okay.
Yeah.
Mary,
But
you had
the
your hand
building
up.
is required.
Oh, okay.
I am addressing Kevin's comment about really patrolling the poop. You had told me in the past, Kevin, that nothing could be done unless you caught it happening.
Well,
You couldn't do something if you saw an owner walk away from a pile of poop. You had to see it happening.
no.
Is that still the case?
The case is we have to observe a violation. PSC
Okay, you
must
have to see it
observe-
poop.
Yes, we must observe the violation.
So that makes it very, very difficult to
It
patrol.
does, but it makes it difficult, but we're professionals and we're trained to spot this. And if we spot this and if we observe this, we'll write summonses.
There are some people, Mary, that will the dog will be going to the bathroom and after the dog's done, will walk away. If an officer observes that, they'll be summoned. But if the officer just if the officer just observes dog poop and doesn't see the dog actually doing it, just, the dog standing next to it, then they didn't observe the actual violation.
No, that makes that really.
Could be another
Hosanna,
dog.
I wish you could do something about getting that law changed. I mean, if they even saw a dog walking away from a steaming pile of poop and they could ticket it.
But
Mary, but that is a law.
If you see a dog walking away from a steaming pile of poop, you would just assume that the dog pooped there.
Right. That's seeing it, I would think.
That's what I would think, but that's not my understanding of what you said.
Well, look, that's I'm saying that if they make an observation and they put all the facts together, they will write a summons.
Okay, good. Let them do it.
A
Actually,
dog walking away from steaming poop, that dog pooped there.
Kevin,
I
when
think
I
there
met
has
you
to
first,
be some consequences at this point because,
But we're
it's
writing,
like-
no, we're
crazy now.
writing dog poop. Where the discretion comes in with the leashes.
Kevin, the
And
day
we are going to be writing the leashes also.
Good. That's important. That's important.
Kevin, when I met you and you were explaining these laws to me, I was very interested in it, which is why we happened to meet. But on occasion, I would see a public safety officer out on the street and ask if they had the summons with them to ticket somebody breaking the pooper laws. I never once encountered a public safety officer who was carrying the citations.
Okay,
So how many officers, Kevin? Is that part of the training for the special patrol status?
only our special patrolmen can write summonses.
Okay.
And how
that's
many
the
are
one
there?
group,
And there are about 17 out of the,
44?
and there's no, there's a little bit more than that. I can give you the exact number.
Well, I walk my doggy often on the East Promenade, and I've never seen a public safety officer there.
For the question though is how many, as we learned from the meeting that we had where Kevin explained how much training goes into it and the certification that is required from NYPD following all of the training in order to become a special patrolman status. And they leave. We lost 4 who luckily had not had it, although they had had the training. How many are per shift are usually out, Kevin, that are able to write tickets at?
We have at least 2, possibly 3.
Okay, that are on each shift.
Yes, on each shift.
Okay. So Mary, I guess you keep missing, you keep asking the
And
wrong.
Mary, just to answer your question, they are patrolling the promenades every single day.
No bad timing then, I suppose. that I-
Every day, we have officers patrolling the east and the west side, every single day.
Okay, thank you, Anthony.
All right, Frank, you have your hand up.
Yep,
Is
sort
this
of
in
in the,
relation to this?
yep, following up on your question, Aaron. So, is, this is to public safety. So, when I was looking at we have the state laws and the city laws, which are designed to go with either Department of Health or Department of Parks. Are you able to write tickets on the city laws? And if not, what you're thinking about getting permission to do that? I know you're able to do it upon request or some type of, either training or agreement that you could write tickets on the city laws.
So Frank, we write our tickets on the city law.
Okay, great, good, perfect. Okay,
Okay.
great, thank you.
That's where the special patrol.
They're special patrolmen from the NYPD.
Right.
Got it,
the city.
okay,
Not the
That's the
state.
training and
you.
the certification is the
Yes.
special patrolman status is a new NYPD, New York City Police certification. Okay.
Their training comes from the state, the special patrol status comes from the city of New York.
Okay, terrific. Okay, thank you. So we'll go on. Any news, Kevin? Is everybody satisfied? Are there any more questions? Stephanie, again, I'm sorry that this happened to your son. Know that unfortunately you're not alone recently. There have been several incidences. I'm so sorry. I hope he will be able to get past it. It's not an easy age, he's a brave little boy. And dogs are great things, when they approach you the right way. And hopefully that'll all be okay in the future. But I'm sorry. I'm sorry that the community let you down as well. So go ahead, Kev.
One of the things I'd be happy to speak about is the speed cushions will be installed on Main Street. We did the speed cushions down and around on Cornell Loop. And there'll be.
Sorry, I don't want to interrupt. I just want to say thank you for the invite. And my son needs to go to bed
Oh, yes,
now,
yes,
so
yes. Thank you,
unfortunately
Stephanie, for
I can't
coming.
stay any
Thank you,
longer
Ms. Knight.
here. I
I
hope,
will,
yeah, you
I will invite
understand.
you in the future.
Yeah.
All right. So you can just keep up with us.
Yeah, thank you.
Terrific.
Yeah,
Thank you, Stephanie.
Yeah, so thank you so much and have a good night.
You too.
Goodbye.
you.
Hi, Stephanie.
Night,
Kisses.
night.
Bye. All right, Kev, go ahead now. The speed, you say the speed cushions, the ones that are down by Cornell are not placed properly, I don't think. They're in the bike lanes.
Well,
Have you,
they have to be in the bike lanes because otherwise the cars would go into the bike lanes and go around the speed cushions.
But they're not on the road. They're just
They're on
in the
the road.
bike lane.
They are.
On the road. When, Tony, I got it.
Sorry.
When did you last go down
A
there?
couple of weeks ago, when they first put them in, I saw Rick pointed it out to me that they were in the bike lane part. And when I drove by, they weren't in the road, they were in the bike lane. So they moved them over, or
Yeah.
they're,
They put
Okay.
it across. They put it across. And they're across the whole roadway. So they're across, from the bike lane all the way across to the driving lanes.
okay. Frank has his hand up. Frank has a comment on this, I'm sure.
Yeah, so the thing is, for the red bus, I did observe them, as you've described, Chief. But they don't really fit the buses, or at least the buses don't use them that way. So the idea of, worrying about, the bus hitting a bump, to upset, a resident on the red bus, I don't think that's really practical, and in terms of the way they're driving. The other thing is, they don't really stop anyone. There's a speed cushion like this over next to the BQE. I can drive 30 miles over it unimpeded by this, and I tried at 20 miles an hour on this. The simple thing is, you put the left wheel in one of the roadway, and the right wheel goes over the speed cushion, and it has no effect on slowing down the car. You don't feel it. There's no impediment to this. Same is true on Staten Island.
Can I say something, Frank?
Yeah.
And this is just from my personal observation.
By the way, I don't drive 20 miles an hour normally. I just did it for the
Right,
purpose.
you made your point, Frank. Go ahead, Kevin.
So this is what I noticed. The Roosevelt Island residents adhere to the speed limit on Roosevelt Island. It's the people who come onto the island who are speeding around Cornell Tech. They're the ones going way too fast, and they don't know that those speed cushions are there. And those are the people who they then go over them at an enormous rate of speed, and then they're suddenly stopped. So for the Roosevelt Island residents that know that they're there, for the most part, they're stopping they're doing 15 miles an hour, because this is their community and they're adhering to the speed law. The people who are breaking the speed limit are usually people from off the island.
Okay, and I would say that I don't believe speed has been a major factor, and certainly I know you're going to put them in front of the school, which I don't think, speed has been a factor there. The accidents are, happen at 5 to 10 miles an hour, not anything bigger. And what I would request then, because I believe it's required, is that you put up some signage either in the roadway or adjacent, or a beam to it, that warns the motorist of the speed cushion, whatever the
Good idea.
manual of uniform traffic control devices require. I'm sure the DOT people know the distance. Thanks.
Yes, you're correct.
Mary, your hand is up.
Yes, it was. Recently, I came onto the island at night, and at the base of the helix is that sign with the lights. Some of the lights are out.
Right.
The word promenade takes up 2 lines. And I started thinking, if I didn't live here, would I know what the promenade is? I
Right.
don't think that communicates to people visiting the island where it is you don't allow the motorized bikes and scooters and things. I mean, ask anybody who doesn't live here, what's the promenade?
Maybe.
They won't know. And the lights, the letters are so big, you can't get a full sentence in one line. So a word is broken up. I think whomever does those lighting things could do a better job of the lighting. And let's come up with a better word than promenade, because people don't know what it means.
I'll definitely take another look at it, but I can tell you from what I've seen, the people who drive on the promenade are Roosevelt Island residents.
Yeah.
Mm.
People who
Then
are
why is that sign at the entrance?
to tell the Roosevelt Island residents that they're not allowed on the promenade.
Yeah, but it's right where people are coming onto the island.
Those are the Roosevelt Island residents
Anyway,
coming onto
I'm
the island.
just strongly suggesting.
Okay,
The
thank you.
word promenade means nothing to people who don't live here.
Yes.
And the sign, if the letters were smaller, maybe you could get a full word in one line and not have to break it up.
I'll take a look at that. But like
Thank
I
you.
said, most of the people driving on the promenade are Roosevelt Island residents.
Okay.
Hey, Chief, I just wanted to say also, we did have a message just prior that the letters were a little smaller. And Mary, someone complained that it was too small, they couldn't read it, that we needed to enlarge the lettering so that they were able to read what the message was.
I hope they weren't driving, Anthony.
Not everyone can
Couldn't
see,
it.
not everyone could see it when it was this smaller. We had too many words at once, so they wanted the lettering to be larger and fewer at a time.
Well,
Well,
I agree
probably
with her.
some
I saw it
editing,
today and I thought
editing.
it was, I mean,
About-
you have to wait to see what the rest of the sentence, but
And also on the promenades, there are all the signs that say no motorized vehicle.
Right.
Bikes.
so did we get those signs up? Weren't there new signs, Anthony, that you were waiting to put up that has all of it on one sign that you were waiting for maintenance to put up?
Chief, I believe we've had, some of them went up.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes, we have majority of the signs are up. We have to, check with maintenance and make sure that they're all up, especially in the summer months coming.
Right. Okay. And I saw that the city bikes has e-bikes over there, right? Did I see that correctly? That the city bikes now have e-bikes on the island?
Some of them are e-bikes.
So do we really want to, I mean, maybe, I don't know whether we have to tell them something because, I'm not sure that they would know that if they rent the e-bike, that they have limitations on where they can go, but I guess the signs will,
Says no,
maybe,
yeah, motorized e-bikes, scooter.
Yeah,
says
but
that.
something there even, specifically near where they're renting them so that they understand where they can and cannot go.
Good idea.
Just because they're about to rent one, they think, oh, they don't know it's the promenade, they'll circle the island. Yes, Frank?
Just in relation to that sign there in the Helix. So there are officers out the past couple nights dealing with the motorgate cleaning and doing traffic control because you have one lane closed. Neither the officer at the top nor the bottom are visible. They need to be lit up better, especially the people on the upper level. Also, you cannot see their hands. I know they can see them, but the lighting is, you can't see them, their hands. So they should get, fluorescent gloves or something like that. So the motorists can see them. It's a problem in every direction, coming northbound and also down the Helix ramp on the, I want the officers to be safe and I want the motorists to be safe. So just the fluorescent gloves would help see their hands.
All right, thanks a lot, Frank. I will.
Thank
make
you.
note and I'll look into that.
All right, so then next we're on staffing, training, anything new, Anthony? I know you have 4 new workers. Staffing is 100%.
We have a
Any new surprises?
We have a new peace officer school that is starting the first week of June. And it will run 2 days a week so that we'll get all our officers in the, in the process to get their SPO status. That's given by Criminal Justice Department of New York State. So we'll be having instructors coming in and giving them all of the state qualifications to become peace officers. And that's, like I said, first week of June that starts.
Great. Who is the training officer now?
It's a private.
No, I know, but don't you have an
Oh, yes,
officer that's your training officer?
Our training officer was one of our officers who went to another agency, and we're in the process of having another person trained.
Oh, to be the training officer. And who is that? Who are you planning to do that with? Any?
It will probably be Lieutenant Papagiannis.
Is that the one that was the NYPD
Yes.
officer that wears all your favorite guy, Mary? Okay. That's, I thought I heard something that it was Estella and I was like.
No, you have to go to a specific school and you have to pass a specific course in order.
No, I'm good. I'd rather it not just be anybody. Okay. And so I think that's about it. The Delhi incident, you're still waiting for your camera work, right? Anything, do you have any new updates?
Not at this time.
I'm still waiting for my FOIL request too. I don't, has her lawyer contacted you yet?
Yes,
Okay,
yes. So it's in the hands of the lawyers at this time.
did you have an opportunity to meet with her, which is what you wanted to do, or no?
Gretchen, our legal department put that on hold for now.
Okay, all righty. So we'll see. When are we, so what are we waiting for now at this point?
We're waiting to speak to her. We don't have a complaint of anyone. We want to speak to her. We want to get, actually, once she puts something out there, we will act on it. And we're ready to act on it.
Okay, when she says something, but as far as what the community felt that they witnessed or what they know, you were going to try to speak with her to figure out whether there was some reason for it behind it, right? Why it was handled that
There were a lot
particular
of
way.
unanswered questions.
Right,
And
that's
so-
what I mean.
so-
And
so-
that will come from her?
Yes, a lot of it will come from her.
Okay, so that's what we're waiting for until we find out whether you'll decide to take any kind of steps.
Yes.
Okay,
And we will
Can I ask a
definitely
question?
publicly announce.
yes, okay. Go ahead, Rick.
Can you say anything about what the officers told you what happened from their perspective?
Not at this time. This is an ongoing investigation right now.
Okay.
Okay,
Are those officers still on active duty?
Yes.
well, just so you know, at the last meeting, 9 people felt that but agreed with the statement that the Public Safety Committee chairs, and 1 was against it. So the majority of the people who have provided input on this situation were not happy with what they saw and felt that, and there'll be a second statement coming out, but felt that it should have been handled differently. It shouldn't have gone to an escalation, and that there should be consequences for the behavior that was witnessed. So we're waiting on you. At the same time, we'd like to see something. Ike? Your hands
Well,
up?
I think everybody knows there's been public statements and back and forth. We're in a waiting mode now, and I think it'd be better to just, over the next few days, the events will unfold. They're in motion, and we'll see what the next steps are going to be. I can't see any useful purpose in going beyond stating that. The next few days or period will be determinate.
Definitely.
Okay. Yes, Frank?
Quick question. Roosevelt Island Day and July 4th. Anything that is there any planning on that? I haven't heard RIOC say anything about Roosevelt Island Day yet. I don't know if that's on the calendar or not.
They put out something about Roosevelt Island Day. Roosevelt Island Day is June 11th.
Okay,
And that is, it's going to go. And July 4th, we will have July 4th on the East River. And we're planning for it right now.
great.
That was
Thank
the
you.
first time I met Jack McManus. I was so impressed with the way he handled July 4th. He walked down and there was a group of people. They had closed the park off. I don't think you were here. They had closed down the park at 10 o'clock because July 4th, there's always a famous barbecue where everybody always was a heavy time. And Jack McManus stood his ground, and a group of these young adults were like throwing slurs and we're really pushing it. And Jack handled it beautifully. Nobody was arrested. Nobody was pepper sprayed. He gave respect and he got respect. And it was handled terrifically. And that was true community policing. And that was the first time that Jack was really challenged with a situation that he made me believe when he said that from the top down, he believed that the attitude from the top down would be able to withstand and conquer the abuse that had happened previously. And I believed him after witnessing that. But that's rare. Oh, there's, and it was great. Dee is just coming in. I wonder if she's still in Spain. All right, well, we're just ending. So,
Can I
Dee?
ask one more question?
sure, go ahead.
Just,
Hi.
people in the garden have said that the DEP road next to the garden on weekdays seems to be filled up with parked cars there every weekday. Are you aware of that, or are cars allowed to park there?
No, they're not allowed to park there, and I will check on that and make sure that that is not correct. That will be looked into.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Dee, welcome. Are you still in Spain? We're just about to end.
I know, I just came back. It's 2:20 for me. I set my alarm and it was off. And so, yeah. So I apologize. But hope you guys had a good meeting and we were able to, figure out how to resolve this issue, this dog situation.
Well, it was a good issue and you'll have to, I don't think we're going to go back and do it all again now because I think everybody's tired, but I think that we will have more patrols. Kevin will be giving, the PSD will be giving fines. They are moving, like Rosanna reported that they are moving now on the dog runs. That's happening. Dogs still have to be on leashes. Stephanie shared it was, her son is still a bit traumatized, but I think that our public safety department will handle this. And let's
What about the
hope.
dog that bit that kid even though they were on a leash?
No, I know.
That's a tough one. Right?
Yeah,
They're
I
on a
know.
leash.
It's over, but a long leash. You're not allowed to be over
Yeah.
6 feet. Leashes are not
Oh.
allowed to be over 6 feet either. And then ran off and didn't give her information. That was outrageous. Did you meet with her, Kevin?
No, I
Did you?
did not.
Oh my God. I was hoping she'd be here today. I mean, her child had to get rabies shots and is on antibiotics because when she asked them, is your dog vaccinated? They walked away. They ran off. So it's
Any
scary.
updates regarding the incident at the deli?
Kevin, you want to say what you said? No, they haven't gotten anything new.
Okay, still on the
All right.
investigation then?
Yes.
Yes, he
Okay.
said that it's now under investigation. Okay,
Okey-doke.
so we're going to
Okay.
end.
Have a good
Frank,
night.
is there something
good
I'd like
morning.
to end the
Wheels are in
meeting?
motion. Wheels are in motion, D.
Yeah,
Oh.
wheels are in motion.
I
Sounds
just,
good.
I wanted, if it wasn't said already, RIOC and Public Safety had a nice event for the fallen officers on Sunday. And the balloon celebration was pretty spectacular at the end of that. And so that was a nice ceremony. Thank you.
All right.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
All right, have a good night.
And thanks for everybody that did come out. We appreciate it. We appreciate it.
Yesterday, I'm sorry, Shirley was supposed to come, but Shirley woke up late, and when I called her and said, you are going, she was apologetic, but she couldn't move that fast. So
There were
I'm sorry we missed it. I
bunch of
wasn't in
people.
town.
Yeah. It was-
Good.
Sorry, I'm in
It was really
Spain. I
great.
couldn't make it.
Right.
That's
All righty.
awesome.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Good night.